Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about the originals, episode 409, titled Queen Death, which premiered Friday, May 19, 2017 on the CW. I'm recording on the 21st, so it's been a few days. But with that said, guys, huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first. I'm going to be spoiling it like crazy, and I don't want to ruin the experience for you. So once you see the episode, then come back and see what I have to say about it. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen right now, so take a moment to read over those. And with that said, let's start with the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. Timeline-wise, I'm thinking it's the next day from the events of 408, from where it left off on. And for storyline-wise, there's really only one main storyline, and that was to pretty much save Elijah from the Hollow. So the Hollow plans to unite her bone fragments and then sacrifice Elijah as this powerful sacrifice in order for her to resurrect herself. Because with Elijah's death also brings the death of his vampire sire line. So that's going to be a very powerful sacrifice that would power her resurrection. Now the Michelsons, they want to use the sacrifice aspect to entomb the Hollow instead while she's still in spirit form. But instead of using Elijah, they want to use Klaus because they know that Klaus will survive the sacrifice, because they want to trap his soul in the necklace that Frey used to keep Finn's soul in back in season 2. Because the weak Elijah, with him being poisoned by the thorns, they don't believe that he would survive a transfer into the necklace. However, they have to go with Elijah being transferred into the necklace due to the Hollow already trying to kill him and having no way to truly kill Klaus, since they already destroyed the thorns they were going to use to weaken him. So with that, Elijah's transferred into the necklace, but the pendant is shattered halfway through the transfer. So apparently Elijah's soul is in the necklace, but it's shattered from the sounds of it. The last scene of the episode shows the Hollow actually being reborn, and she's apparently more powerful than when she was first alive 1,500 years ago. So that's a little unsettling there, though. But tidbit-wise, though, we get Klaus has a little pastry moment with Hope when he tries to have her sample all the different beignets, I think they're called. So that was a little cute moment there between them before the chaos hit. We also get Marcel getting Sophia's body back from the Hollow. Don't know how she's affected by the possession, but she's now free of the Hollow's presence in her. So there's that. Klaus also acknowledges Keelan as Freya's girlfriend, and he also seems to approve of her too. There's a little comment that they made before they had to go and try to save Elijah, while Keelan stayed behind to babysit Hope. Vincent also warns the witches to leave town until the Hollow has been destroyed. So kind of to tell them to save themselves, because they're the ones that aren't following the Hollow, and yet they might be targeted against the Hollow, because the Hollow is now taking on the stance of either with me or you're against me type of thing. And also we see Vincent getting his Hollow journal back from Marcel because he believes that they're in a more desperate place than he thought they would be. So there's that. And moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I have to say, was the fact that Elijah was actually sacrificed. I was a little touch and go there with the pendant, but it was hard seeing that happen for sure. And then in a show where death isn't really a permanent thing, it took a moment to realize that maybe this was a permanent death for Elijah. But glad we got to see, thanks to Hope, that he actually is in the shattered pendant. He's just a little lost than they're used to. So there's that. But moving on to the top 3 favorite moments, I have to say the first one is the moment that Klaus and Hope got to share with the pastries. It was a little small moment, but I'm glad that they got to have that bonding time of just simple, innocent bliss over pastries. It was great to see that, and then to have him tell her a story of when he had his first taste of a beignet, and then have her be so intrigued and asking questions about it, and just to hear his answers to it as well. It was very interesting to see. I'm glad we got to see that type of a moment before all hell broke loose for them. So there's that. Second favorite moment of mine has to be Vincent telling Klaus that Cammy would be proud of him. It was moments before Klaus was supposed to be sacrificed by Vincent before the Hollowers intervened, but Klaus kind of brought up to Vincent, all right, out with it, say what you need to before he makes a sacrifice. And Vincent told him, I never thought I'd be alive to see this day. Klaus thinks that he meant never thought be alive to see the day that he would be dead or he would be killed. And Vincent corrects him and says, no, it's not the fact that you're dying, it's the fact that you are sacrificing yourself. You're making the choice to be sacrificed. And the fact that Vincent says, like, he didn't think he'd be alive to see the day where he would witness for himself the potential goodness that Cammy had always saw in Klaus. I thought it was a really good moment. It was something that Klaus needed to hear for sure, and just his reaction to it, it definitely startled him. But I'm really glad they had that little moment there, and that Cammy was brought up in that sense. So it was very interesting for sure, and it was great to see Vincent remembering what Cammy had shared in him and why she had faith in Klaus and his potential and being good and stuff like that. Another favorite of mine for the episode has to be Klaus's urgency to know that Elijah was saved in the necklace. When they were trying to figure out if he was inside the shattered pendant, and Freya was trying and failing to feel his presence inside of it, which is understandable. And then Klaus just insisting that no, Elijah can't be gone. He can't, after 1,000 years of walking on this earth together and knowing that they've been alive for that long. Klaus can't comprehend the idea that his big brother is gone, that it's come to this, and then to have Hope come in and to confirm for everybody that Elijah is inside the necklace by giving Freya that little boost of magic that she needs to further penetrate into the broken pendant. It was really a great moment to have. That was definitely a moment that I was getting a little teary-eyed over because of Klaus's urgency over needing to know that they can still save Elijah. It was just something. It's very different from the dynamic we were first introduced about them back in season 2 of the Vampire Diaries, but I'm glad that we got to see such a true progression between the two and how it truly is family for them always and forever. So I really like that for sure. Moving on to top 3 peeved moments, though, I only have the one, and it was the fact that Elijah was sacrificed. I didn't really think that was going to happen. I mean, the headline for the synopsis kind of warned you over the fact that there was a heartbreaking sacrifice that was going to happen, but I just didn't think it'd be one of the core 3. I didn't think Elijah was going to be an option, even though it kind of looked like that. I thought maybe it would have been someone else to take his place, and it kind of almost was with Klaus, but with Klaus being kind of the main protagonist of the show, you don't really think it would happen like that. But I was peeved that Elijah was sacrificed. I would have been a lot more peeved if he wasn't in that necklace, but I'm glad at least we have that little bit of a hope that we can get him back. What moment will I remember most? I look back on this episode, the fact that Elijah died, like, for sure. So that's going to be a huge one to remember. But moving on to random questions, though. First one that just came to mind, though, but since that Elijah is dead, but his soul is stuck in the necklace, what happens to his sire line? Are all the people that have been connected to his sire line truly dead now, or are they still good? Because this is the way I see it. You have to remember, back on the Vampire Diaries in season 3, season 4, in the finale, we have to remember that the evil Lark had staked Klaus in the heart with the white oak stake, to the point that his body actually flamed out. Rebecca and Elijah truly thought that Klaus was dead. But then we find out that Klaus's soul was just temporarily placed in Tyler's body, which ensured the fact that all the vampires in the Vampire Diaries, like Damon, Caroline, Stefan, Elena, they weren't killed because they were part of Klaus's sire line, or especially Tyler as well. So I'm wondering, is that the same thing that's going to happen in this episode, or in this regard? Because Elijah, though his body is technically dead, his soul is stuck in a pendant, very similar to how Klaus's soul was in someone else's body when his original body was killed. So what's the state of Elijah's sire line? Are they actually dead, which would be completely contradictory to what happened on the Vampire Diaries, or are they still alive because Elijah's soul is still alive independent? So that's one question that just popped up in my head as I was talking about Elijah dying. But another question that I had was, the Hollow said that Hope was powerful enough to destroy her. What does Hope need to do exactly to achieve this? It took the tribe elders to defeat her the first time, so what does Hope have to do that will ensure her death? Because she's also inexperienced, but she has all this power from not only the 3 different species lines, but as the Michelson firstborn of the generation she's in, she's supposed to have all this great power that Dahlia was trying to get to, power that Freya apparently is also a part of as well. So I'm really looking forward to hearing about how exactly hope is going to be the key to destroying the Hollow. And last question, if Elijah's mind is scattered in the pendant, is there a chance that he might not remember who he is or everything that's happened to him in the last 1,000 years? I'm wondering if we're going to get some sort of amnesia type situation when it comes to Elijah. So there's that. And moving on to predictions, and there goes the timer for that, though, but very quickly. Based off the promo for 410, the episode returns on June 2nd, so that's 1 week hiatus for us, but it shows that Elijah's mind is shattered in the pendant, and Freya sends Haley inside to find Elijah, but he could be lost in 1,000 years worth of memories. It shows Haley going down a white hallway, and then she stops in front of a red door, and as you remember, a huge red door reference was made in episode 205 of season 2. So there is that. Based off the synopsis for the episode, actually, this is an episode directed by Daniel Gillies, aka Elijah. So maybe that's why we see him in this situation, which also has me wondering, are any moments we're going to see in Elijah's hallway of memories, are they going to be old flashback versions of footage of Elijah, or is it actually new footage that we're going to see? Because as the director, I can understand Elijah taking more of an absence, just so that Daniel could be more focused as the director. But anyways, the synopsis reads that after the devastating events of the previous episode, Klaus requests that his estranged siblings, Rebecca and Cole, return home to stand by their family against the Hollow. Meanwhile, Freya recruits Haley for a dangerous journey that will put both their lives at risk, but maybe the sole means of saving someone they love. Elsewhere, tensions rise when Marcel leads a hunt for the Hollow, putting him on a collision course when the person he was least prepared to face. With the person he was least prepared to face. Finally, as Cole continues to mourn the loss of Davina, he is forced to consider the lengths he'd go to see her again. Now, based off of all that, Freya is going to use Haley to get Elijah's soul back, as shown in the promo, as hinted to in the synopsis. I kind of, on the one hand, the shipper part of me is glad that that's Haley going into the pendant to get Elijah's soul back, but on the other hand, I think it should be someone in Elijah's family, whether it's Klaus or whether it's Rebecca, because they've known him for 1,000 years. They've known him through every part of history together. So I would have thought that maybe they would be the ones going in to get Elijah. But I guess they're appealing to the shipper heart of this as well, though. But again, that brings the question of what version of Elijah are we getting? Like I mentioned before, are we going to get old archive footage of different stages of Elijah that we've seen over his duration between the Vampire Diaries and the originals, or is it actually going to be new footage that we're going to be seeing him in this little quest in his shattered mind? So there's that. Also, I really hope Cole is not going to be thinking of any suicide missions just so he can see Davina again. I really hope not. I hope maybe his trip with Rebecca maybe helped him in a sense, but based off the synopsis, it's looking like not so much. But we'll have to see about that. And also, huge news, pretty sure I mentioned in the previous video I did, but at the CW Upfronts, it was revealed that the Originals is returning mid-season for Season 5. So it's going to be a while that we're going to see how this continues out in next year. But it looks like it might be the same amount of episodes. But it's still exciting. We're actually almost done this season. It's only like 4 episodes left. So I'm super excited about that, though. But what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions of what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want to check out my Tumblr page, the link for that is down below. I read blog, promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. So go check that out. I try to update it as best I can. A little behind at the moment, but I will get to it. Also, everything's connected to my WordPress account. The link for that is down below. It's a little more organized over there, but it's definitely a work in progress as I'm slowly working through everything. And also, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, check out my Livejournal entry link down below. It's jotted a recap of the episode as I watch it for the first time with in-moment thoughts, questions, and anything I pick up while I'm watching it. It definitely helps keep things in line and in proper order for me, so maybe it helps you as well. But you can go check that out if you want as well. And pretty sure that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back in a few weeks to see what I have to say about the next episode, as it's returning June 2nd. So until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.